On my Media Prime Television. On today's edition of the program, the newspapers are telling us about the consultations or the meeting in Buea by Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Dion-Ngute, who has been in Buea since Wednesday to evaluate how far the recommendations of the major national dialogue have been implemented. We shall equally tell you about the call of some NGOs and other actors regarding the crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, not leaving out Eto's candidacy for the presidency of FECAFOOT in Cameroon. Some newspapers are telling us this morning that the former Indomitable Lions captain has said he doesn't need any salary to be at the helm of FECAFOOT, that he will be doing so on no salary should he be elected as president of FECAFOOT. Let's go find out what the French newspapers have for us this morning with Etape Kanten. Bonjour Etape.
Bonjour Lacha Kinsili et bonjour à nos millions de testateurs. Merci de nous rejoindre dans cette dernière édition de débrief de ce vendredi 24 septembre 2021 sur My Media Prime Télévision de Eyes of Africa. Commençons très rapidement avec le journal Mutation qui nous parle du transport routier, un domaine dans lequel la corruption circule en toute liberté. Le secteur du transport routier, selon le rapport 2020 de la CONAC, recueille plus de dénonciations en première position et puis en deuxième, les affaires foncières s'y pointent. L'essentiel de ce rapport, en tout cas, est à retrouver dans les colonnes de la page 7 de ce journal en kiosque ce matin. Poursuivons en sécurité avec l'hebdomadaire, le journal La Dernière Heure, qui poste naturellement à sa grande une le déploiement stratégique de l'armée au nord-ouest après les attaques meurtrières des sécessionnistes. Si l'on s'en tient à ce tabloïd, le ministre délégué à la présidence chargée de la défense, Joseph Betty Assomon, a effectué une descente à Bamenda il y a 2 jours dans le but de peaufiner une nouvelle technique de défense afin d'anéantir définitivement les groupes sécessionnistes armés qui sèment la mort dans les régions en crise et particulièrement dans le nord-ouest. Un dossier à retrouver dans les pages 4 et 5 de cette livraison en kiosque ce matin. Parlons à présent de l'éducation avec l'hebdomadaire, le journal L'Essor enseignement secondaire. Le système de mi-temps à l'origine du faible taux de réussite dans les lycées. C'est justement ce que nous propose le journal en sa grande une. Plus loin, l'on constate que si la pandémie de Covid-19 a été à l'origine du chamboulement des horaires de classe dans les établissements, ceci n'est pas resté sans impact négatif sur le niveau des élèves sortant généralement des lycées qui ont massivement raté leur examen. Et puis terminons avec le journal Bleu-Blanc, le quotidien qui nous renseigne dans le domaine de l'économie et consacre à sa grande une attractivité et connectivité du port autonome de Kribi. Coup de projecteur sur l'autoroute. D'après nos confrères, le préfet de l'Océan, Nounou Bello, a lancé une grande journée de campagne de sensibilisation des usagers de l'autoroute de Kribi hier, jeudi 23 septembre 2021. C'est un signe précurseur de la mise en service de cette infrastructure autoroute. La première déjà achevée au Cameroun inaugure une nouvelle ère pour une montée en compétition. Au pied de sa une également, le même journal nous parle de la coopération militaire Cameroun-France, une priorité à l'action de l'État en mer et au perfectionnement de l'école de guerre de Yaoundé. Le patron du MINDEF et l'ambassadeur de France au Cameroun, Christophe Guiou, ont procédé à leur signature hier jeudi en salle des actes du ministère de la Défense à la capitale politique du Cameroun. Fin et stop pour la revue de presse en langue française. Place actuellement à la découverte de une des autres journaux en anglais avec toi, Lacha Kinsili. Bonjour une fois de plus.
Bonjour Etape Kanten. Good morning once again, televiewers on My Media Prime Television. It's our favorite program, bilingual program, The Brief. Of course, we dig several layers beneath the striking headlines that the newspapers carry in Cameroon. Let's kickstart with the lone English daily, The Guardian Post, newspaper, which is bringing to us this morning a leaked document. According to the paper, leaked letter from Southwest elites puts last nail on coffin of independence or independence dream in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. According to the newspaper this morning, Northwesterners are told in the said letter never to dream they will ever live happily together with the Southwesterners in a separate state. More details on page 3 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. And still in line with the Ambazonia struggle, ex-Amba fighters arrested for allegedly trading in illicit fuel. Yannick Kawa one of the first separatist fighters to have defected the Ambazonian Independence Project from Mamfe Central Subdivision in Manu Division in the southwest region of Cameroon to heed to President Paul Biya's call for voluntary surrender and peace is said to have been arrested. Recently, reports have it that Yannick Kawa was arrested along the Muyuka Buya Highway in Fako Division en route to Douala in the littoral region of Cameroon. Let's talk about the 2020 CONAC reports. According to the Guardian Post newspaper this morning, Cameroon loses over 17 billion francs CFA to corruption, with the transport ministry emerging as the most corrupt sector of the economy. As we are told, you can get more details about the full reports of CONAC yesterday regarding the sectors that were involved in corrupt practices in the country, with the transport sector being the most corrupt. Only in this edition of the said newspaper, as Cameroon loses once again over 17 billion to corrupt practices in the country. Northwest House of Chiefs announces disappearance of Nkambe Fund. According to the said newspaper, the president of the Northwest House of Chiefs, His Majesty Fond Kevin Yakumtevi, has announced that the disappearance of His Royal Majesty Fond Jacob Mfo Ibrahim of Nkambe in the Ndonga Mountain Division, northwest region of Cameroon. News of the traditional ruler's disappearance went viral on the social media on Wednesday, September 22. On Thursday, September 23, the Northwest House of Chiefs confirmed the disappearance, regretting the loss. According to the press release signed by the president of the Northwest House of Chiefs, Fond Kevin Yakumtevi, the departed traditional ruler went missing on Wednesday, September 22, 2021. More details on page 3 of this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. On to the Post Weekender. The Post Weekender is interested in the 76th United Nations General Assembly. U.S. President signals danger for Cameroon at the said 76th UN General Assembly. He warns against human rights violations and undemocratic values. He equally chastised Cameroon for anti-gay stance. It should be recalled that Cameroon has come under heavy criticism for being hard on those who are practicing homosexuality in the country. It should be recalled that the laws of Cameroon forbid the practice of same-sex in the country. Let's talk about the major national dialogue visit to Buea. Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute lauds a significant peace and the school resumption in the southwest region of the country. The Prime Minister of Cameroon, head of government Diongute, lauded what he terms significant progress towards peace in the southwest regions of Cameroon, as he chaired a major national dialogue follow-up session in Buea on Wednesday, September 22. The PM's heavily guarded convoy arrived at Buea on September 21, a day celebrated as a World Peace Day, but which according to so many persons are saying that there is no peace in the two English-speaking regions of the country. But Prime Minister braved all odds to go to the southwest region of Cameroon to chair the second session of the committee or the session to evaluate how far the implementation of recommendations of major national dialogue have gone so far. Let's talk about the visit of Minde Boss to the northwest region of Cameroon. Joseph Betty Asomo was in the northwest region of Cameroon, according to the Post-Weekender newspaper. And new order, he gives new orders as military changes strategies against Ambazonia fighters. The new orders came shortly after the killing of 15 officers or army in the northwest region of Cameroon, precisely in the locality of Bamisin in Gokitunja division of the said region of the country. Let's talk about Fecafoot presidency. Eto'o wants Fecafoot presidency without salary. The former Indomitable Lions captain Samuel Eto'o made the revelation recently while declaring his candidacy for the post of president of Fecafoot of Cameroon. More details in this edition of the Post-Weekender. We end with the Sun newspaper. The Sun is also interested in the visit of Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute to the southwest region of Cameroon. According to the paper, PM Diongute leaves door open for dialogue. He says he is prepared to listen to whosoever in order to for peace to return to the northwest and southwest regions. He says government has been moving steadily to satisfy the demands of the aggrieved regions of the Republic, while secessionists have remained in their extreme positions, refusing to concede. He equally insisted that the unity of Cameroon, or the unity of the nation, is non-negotiable. More details about the visit of Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute in this edition of the Sun newspaper, which of course is dedicating its entire front page to the visit of the head of government, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, to the southwest region of Cameroon. We are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning with our human rights defender and consultant, who is always with us here, Amadou Ntante. Good morning once again and welcome.
Good morning once more, Mr. Alasha Kingsley, and thank you very much for this privilege. Good morning to the viewers of My Media Prime Television.
How do you rate the visit of PM, Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, to the southwest region of the country? While he was in the southwest, defense boss was in Bamenda giving marching orders to soldiers.
Well, these two government officials being dispatched to the different conflicting regions of the country, or the northwest and the southwest, even though their visit is was awaited by the population, though with contradictory information. The PM went to the southwest with different information, while the defense boss went to the northwest with different information. So we don't even know, first of all, who is the boss among them. Even though this thing is not strange to us, because I can equally remember that early in 2019, when the President of the Republic called for national dialogue, before then, the Prime Minister had equally gone to Bamenda, while I think the Minister of Higher Education, Jacques Fandong, went to RFI and he equally contradicted the information that was given by the Prime Minister in Bamenda. So you say
that the PM is a victim? Has he always been a victim when it comes to bringing peace? Because he's there struggling to bring peace. His close collaborators are giving other orders that might, compromise the efforts of the PM in ensuring that peace returns.
We know that one of the greatest problems we have in Cameroon here is that there is no respect of hierarchy. That's one of the things that's causing all the disorder we have here in Cameroon. So I'm even, it's disheartening that at this point in time, the Minister of Defense will still go to Bamenda to utter such outrageous statement, given the fact that many both international and national community are saying that peace, dialogue is very, very necessary at this particular time in time, given the number of people that are being killed or the number of properties that are being destroyed on a daily basis. So we have equally been saying that the best way out of this crisis is an inclusive dialogue, both with the separatist fighters and the government. So I was told that we can have solution to the problem we have on the ground. So this inclusive dialogue we talk about, the dialogue where the two parties will come sit on the dialogue on the table as equal partner, a dialogue where the separatist fighters and the government will have the right opinions of each and everyone with respect. A dialogue where everything will be discussed without any exception.
Okay, without any exception.
Without any exception.
Okay, many newspapers, like the other newspaper we had this morning, was talking about, PM with the carrot in the southwest, while defense minister with the stick in Bamenda.
So well, the message of the PM in Saro is very encouraging. We pray that what the PM said that should be implemented. Because some of these things they always say on behind the media and others and in end like that. So we are just praying. There's one thing the president said here, which is unwanted by. I think is not necessary. When they continue saying that Cameroon is one of an indivisible, we are not refusing that.
No,
this is a special status they are giving the North. I don't understand because there are two parties who came together as one. They decided to voluntarily decided to come together at one, and the next day another one decided to give another party a special status.
No, the other one decided to join the order.
Yeah, they decided.
The order.
They unanimously decided to join the order to become one. So they decided to come. It's the right to amalgamation is a right, and the separation is a right.
Can we have the Sun newspaper? If you can zoom the Sun newspaper on the screen, probably Mr. Amadou Tante is missing out something. The PM said in Buea, if you can zoom the Sun newspaper, let's have one of the phrases of PM talking about one never knows. Federalism may come one day.
He look at another point here. He insists that the unity of the nation is non-negotiable.
No, but the same PM said it is
how can he be contradicting himself? The PM he's still contradicting himself. That's where there's a problem.
One never knows. One day federalism may come, which means that something is cooking.
Whether federalism, but the issue is that we are not denying. We want, as I keep saying, we want an inclusive dialogue. When the two parties come together and they look at the root cause of the problem to see what the solution can look like. Coming to the dialogue table does not mean that the government will come with a decision. They come with, when you are going to the negotiating table, you go with propositions. You don't go with decision. When they are saying something as such, it means the government already have something in mind that they want to decide.
As at now, the PM said in the Sun newspaper that as at now, federalism is the option, is what we have now.
That's
so let's work with the special status rather. Let's work with the special status. Why hoping that one day something may come up like the federalism you are talking about?
So after 5 years of killing, destruction, and all the rest, they are still saying that something may. Even the major national, they just think they are calling special status for 2 years now. They have not been able to do anything. They are still going around. They are not ashamed to still going around 2 years after what they said. The major national dialogue, where they are still unable to implement the decisions. But
the special status was not the only outcome of the major national.
Yeah, because that is the main thing that was going to resolve the problem.
You had the return of refugees. You have reconstruction of the Northwest, be it mentally or physically. You have to reconstruct the minds of the people. You construct what have been destroyed so far. You also have return of refugees. Then you have education committee. You have so many others. So why are we only, hanging on special status, and we forgot about Cameroonians who are dying in Nigeria and the other Cameroonians who are suffering this way in the other regions of the country.
Return of refugee and reconstruction. So these are some of the things that it is not necessary at this moment in time. You cannot be asking refugees to leave Nigeria and come back to Cameroon when they know very well that their life is not safe. We are going to talk about reconstruction. We keep saying this on the level. We cannot talk about reconstruction now when we are still at war. When the most important thing is to have for us to have ceasefire in this region, and the two parties to go down and sit on the dialogue table and seek a way out of the crisis. We cannot talk about people living. We cannot be talking about people who ran from the Anglophone region and came to Douala. They should go back to the Northwest region when they are not even sure that they will even arrive at their destination. We are seeing everything on daily basis. We are seeing the situation on the ground. So these people should not deceive us. They should talk the thing that is happening on the field.
So how do you have ceasefire? Defense minister says the military has changed strategy. More weapons or more tanks are being sent to Bamenda as per reports.
Yes.
Which we cannot independently verify as at now. The separatists, they've said is independence or nothing, so they are not laying down their arms. So, how do you get the ceasefire?
So what some parties are saying with regard to the statement made by the Minister of Defense in the Northwest region, they said normally the Cameroon have signed different international engagement that oblige Cameroon government to protect civilians and in the type of war or whatsoever. So this is normal for the Minister of Defense to make such statement, because given the fact that he's the Minister of Defense, also tell the international community that Cameroon government is playing its role to defend the interests of the people and in the conflict-hit Anglophone regions.
I know that any president who takes over office pledged on to protect the constitution, which means that even a centimeter of the territory cannot be compromised by any president whosoever. So is the Minister of Defense out of touch?
No, from what I just said, the thing is reasonable. What those pundits are saying is reasonable. At least the Minister of Defense is not. They are saying that despite no matter the situation on the ground, the Minister of Defense or Cameroon government is doing everything possible to protect the interests of the civilian.
Okay.
Un autre thème, On va justement parler de ce journal, Le Quotidien, qui, si le réalisateur peut envoyer le journal sur l'écran, eh bien, le journal nous renseigne sur la coopération bilatérale entre le Cameroun et la France en matière de sécurité. Le ministre délégué à la présidence en charge de la défense, Joseph Bettia-Somon, a signé a fait une signature avec l'ambassadeur de la France, François Guillou, hier à Yaoundé. Eh bien, quel est l'apport de cette collaboration dans la résolution de la crise anglophone?
Well, the first thing I would say here is that such agreement or whatsoever they are doing there is very necessary for the defense. Because our problem now is that when you hear that the defense of France or whichever country is having a meeting with the Cameroon with regard to security, the first thing that comes to the mind of people is that they want to look at ways of supply more arms so that the Anglophones will be killed or the separatists will be killed.
Which is not has come to your mind.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm still calling Cameroon. So yeah, that's the first thing, but which is not true. So there are a lot of things that these countries share in common. It's very normal.
But war is very, very costly to run.
It is very costly to run. That's why we are saying that it is the war we are doing. Whatsoever, in fact, the things that are happening here, the money that the government is spending in killing people, because the money are being spent in killing Cameroonians. I keep saying this thing on a daily basis that the life of all Cameroonians matter. Whether they are separatist fighters or civilians or the government forces, we are praying that these people should stop all these killings. Cannot be killing Cameroonians. Whether these separatists would have their own ideology. We keep saying that respect the ideologies of other people and look there.
Il se peut que ce partenariat vise à le renforcement de l'école militaire de Yaoundé, l'école de guerre de Yaoundé. Et maintenant, est-ce que ce renforcement la participerait de façon efficace à la résolution de cette crise dans laquelle nous nous situons et qui a déjà sémé beaucoup de tueries?
Well, for now, I cannot really say, but we are praying that the cooperation should be a positive cooperation, a cooperation where things will look in the way I think, but the way I'm thinking, not the way others are thinking, because we know ourselves. So we pray that.
Okay. Let's end with these other headlines. They're talking about former Indomitable Lions captain Samuel Eto'o, who has finally spoken. He says he will be running for the presidency of FECAFOOT, and he says he doesn't need any salary to be able to run, but we already have some enemies of, in quote, enemies of football progress in Cameroon, who are already saying that they don't want Eto'o to be at the helm of FECAFOOT. And some of them have even gone as far as launching, a complaint at the level of the Court of Arbitration for Sports in Switzerland. What do you have to say to that? Eto'o is running FECAFOOT on no salary.
Well, that's a very good initiative. In fact, Eto'o has already done a lot of things in Cameroon. So we're expecting that somebody like him, with the plan he has for this for the federation, if someone like him is voted into the sixth position, it will be a good initiative. Though we have been hearing of this issue of double nationality. If true, that is what the constitution of FECAFOOT says, then it means that Eto'o has been required to disqualified or immediate, because we know very well that Cameroon government maintains that it's only dual nationality.
Is the dual nationality only about FECAFOOT? What about playing for the national team?
That's why they have a problem, because it's not only applying with Eto'o. You can remember that last time Didi Eyango won the elections and was disqualified only because of that.
I'm asking that when Eto'o was playing for Cameroon, was there no issue of dual nationality?
They are the ones who are doing all these things. When you accept something tomorrow, don't be surprised that the same thing will fool you. Because normally, for somebody to be accepting all those type of things, we were playing as a Cameroon team, as a Cameroon player, as a captain, doing all sorts of good things for Cameroon. By then we were Cameroonian, but today we are here that you don't know why Cameroonian, because you want to do something. So that's where there's a problem. We keep saying this on the basis that dual nationality is a necessity in Cameroon. We have a lot of things, a lot of investors who are supposed to have go are Cameroonian but have double nationality, but they are unable to come to Cameroon and invest because
do people really think that he's going there for money? Does he need money?
Is
he going to FECAFOOT for money?
I don't think he's going there for money, because it will appear that the girl has a lot of money. Some of these people, those who are doing this thing to block Eto'o, the real people who are going there for money, who have been there for a long time. We have not even seen any positive thing coming out of FECAFOOT. We have seen ever since some of these people like Ibrahim Bomonjoya took that position. We have been having one problem or the other. One problem, all the money of FECAFOOT has been spent in court, solving problem, one problem or the other. Up to date, we still have a lot of problem there. So we are just praying that it shows.
Yeah, finish.
Okay, I was praying that Eto'o should be he should be given that opportunity to go in for that position, so that we will bring a lot of change here in Cameroon. We know Eto'o is an international footballer,
He has
of
connections.
high character, he has
He
a
has
lot of
played at
connections.
high levels and
Play at
he has
high level, he has a
connections.
lot of experience, and I think somebody like him can change the Fecafoot we knew yesterday and today.
Okay, thank you very much for coming, Amadou.
It's always a pleasure for accepting me into your program.
Do have a great weekend, eh?
Thank you very
And
much.
do have a great weekend to televiewers of MyMedia Prime. It's on this note that we conclude this week's edition of The Brief, which was presented this morning by Etape Kanten and myself, Lasha Kingsley. The production was done by Christian Tebong. See you on Monday, God willing. Bye-bye.